right, Christina, we might kick off.
Yeah.
All right, you've got me there. All right, well, welcome everyone. Today is our third session, and I'm looking forward to introducing Alec to you in a second. But I did want to, I suppose today, I was just going to quickly touch base on where I was back in Melbourne on Tuesday, and just going through a couple of our construction sites, which we're finishing off, and starting to get a little bit more information around the office environment and where it's going to get to, which is certainly it's going to be an interesting space and a lot different to where we've been at. So we've got a new development site in South Melbourne, 101 Moray, which is going to be finished in about 3 weeks, and yeah, putting and implementing a whole lot of new things for this what we're hopefully getting towards our COVID safe workplace. So yeah, we've got a couple of exciting things that we'll be releasing out also, later in the year. But with work really being back at work, not probably looking like till later in the year at best. Yeah, we're hoping we can come with some nice, some good flexible offerings to all our clients to get them back into the office, which I think is, which is going to be quite important, actually getting people back into the office workplace. So, guys, I'm going to introduce you now and welcome our third speaker for our series, Alec Blacklaw, who is from Blacklaw Advisory. Alex is an award-winning business advisory and CEO support firm with national and international clients. He's a strategic business improvement specialist with over 30 years experience in corporate, business advisory, financial services and strategy. He's the founder and creator of the Business Program, which is a highly acclaimed 2-day live business transformation program designed for family, private managed business owners, which have been delivered successfully throughout Australia and the UK. And he's also the author of the Amazon's bestseller, Better Business, Better Life, Better World. So we hope you enjoy his presentation today. I'm certainly looking forward to it. And if you've got any questions throughout, there's the Q&A function here on Zoom. Just fire them through, and then we can I can ask them to Alec at the end of his presentation. So, Alec, I'll hand over to you now.
Thank you very much, Jono. It's amazing when you think about the various experiences that you have in life and in business. And what I'm going to do just at the moment, if I can, if you just bear with me, is just share my screen with you, and then we can really get into making this a really good session for you. So thanks again for joining. And the most important thing that I would really love to be able to do with you today, and hope that you take out of it, is for you to take away some ideas. Now, some of the things I'll be talking about today, you may well have heard them before, and that's okay. But if you're not doing them right now, throughout all of your business, through all of your people, for success, then I'd like you to almost think, well, what can we do to repolish that up and create far more positive pathways for our business? And how can we become better as business leaders in these very uncertain times? So today, the sort of things that I'd like you to be able to take away are around redesigning your business for success. And what does that really look like? So what I will also do is talk to you about how can we create an action plan, and a plan that is full of action, not a business plan, but one that's full of action for our particular business. And what have we learned about our own leadership, and not just within our business, but within perhaps our country, across the world, and more locally here in Victoria, as we've been dealing with these very difficult times through the pandemic. So, and the important thing is, how can we build trust? Because most of the businesses that I work with, and again, they tend to be family owned and privately held businesses in almost every sector that you can think of, and also where they are operating at all the various business life cycles. So whether I've been working with businesses as an owner, as an investor, as an advisor to those businesses, help them grow from being smaller businesses into medium-sized businesses, and help them prepare that business for exit. So I've had the privilege of really working alongside some brilliant people. And what I want to be able to do is share with you what some of the best businesses and some of the best leaders have done to create what I would call a truly awesome business. So let's roll forward with this. So we all have a dream for our business. In fact, you still do. But through this whole COVID period, the plan that you had in place is absolutely been disrupted. And for many businesses, that has been unnerving. It's been uncomfortable. And, you know, I'm not just talking about the economic part, I'm talking about the mental part, the spiritual part for you, your team. And you've been thinking about, well, what do we do? You know, it's like, what happened? And this has been a pandemic that really isn't economic. It's also really brought about because of the entire process around coronavirus. And it sort of reminds me of that little book. It's an interesting parable. It's been around for 20, 25 years about who moved my cheese. You know, where is my, if I'm not comfortable, where do I need to be? What does our business need to be like? And for many people, that's difficult. And what I often say is that change is inevitable. There is no doubt. Some people like change. Others feel really uncomfortable about making a change. And they'll resist that. And that in itself is sometimes a choice. In fact, most of the times it is. But if change is inevitable, what I say is that progress is not. So it's really what I want to be able to give you today is some ideas, some insights, perhaps some nuggets on what you can do to make your business even better than that it is today. So for some businesses, they've been a little impacted. I know some businesses that have actually produced better profitability. Others, unfortunately, have really had their entire business disrupted, whether it's been hospitality, tourism, the arts and entertainment, where I do a lot of work as well. And for others, it's really put a real, in fact, it's cocooned some businesses from what they know will be more difficult times as we move forward. So uncertainty, it's something we've all had to get used to, and some of us have done it well, we've done it for longer periods, and for others not so well. But for many of us, we've developed what we would call new normals. And what is it that is going to be our new normal? So let's take that dive into it. How can we redesign our business for success? I'm going to give you some tools where you can take some of these things and go, okay, I'm going to challenge our thinking and redesign our business. So for many of you, you will already have redesigned your business. I get that. But I want to challenge some of those who you may not have, not be sure of what is it going to be, what is it going to look like when we get back in, whether it's October, November, what is it going to look like with or without a vaccine, or a vaccine at various degrees? What is it going to mean for our business and for our clients? So one of the things that you can do in any design process is to really think about the questions that you ask. And there are two brilliant styles of questions that you can be asking. And one of them that I want you to think about to start with is what. To ask a question with the word what in front of it. What is it that we do? What is our business? What is it that our clients value? What are we doing for our team? What's happened to our products and services? What are the areas in which we want to move our business to? What are the things that our clients value? So what's quite analytical? If you can be asking yourself what style questions, you'll find it's really quite helpful. And how is solution orientated. It's quite a creative aspect. So if we've worked out what it is that we want, if we've worked out that we would like to have sales of X in X sector with margins of whatever it might be, how are we going to be able to do that? If we've lost certain things in it that were core to our business, what can we now replace them with? What will we need to do? What things are critical for our success? Then when you have that as a secondary exercise with getting your whole team involved, whether that's your other business partners, your executive leadership, and then your wider team, how can we get them involved? And what's in it for them? So that asks you to really go back to why it is that you exist. Now, most of you will know why it is that you exist, or in fact, you've got your vision, but you're really thinking about, well, why do we really exist? And why do we exist now? What's our relevance? In fact, I've spoken to so many business leaders, CEOs, where they've really reflected and they've reprioritized in many cases about what it is that they value. So there's been some good things that have come out of this. A lot of people had to think about what it is that they really love about their business, their life, and the things that they value, the things that they miss. So in thinking about why it is that you exist, many of you would have heard about Simon Sinek and in fact watched his video on TED, one of the greatest TED Talks of all time, in terms of what is your purpose? You know, why is that you do exist, and why you exist is really important, because that's more important than almost anything else. He goes on to say that people don't really buy what you do, or in fact how you do it. They're not so worried about that, but they buy into why you do it. So if you think about your team, your other business board members, in fact your clients, they want to know what it is that why you do what you do. They want to get that. They want to feel that. And it certainly is about making more money. I mean, if you create a brilliant business, you will have a business that's really quite profitable. But that isn't why people will buy from you. They buy things from you because it allows them to do a number of things. So what is it that your business does? What products, what service do you provide, and what value do they deliver for the people that you're privileged to have as your clients, your customers, and in your community? So that's a good segue really into really thinking about the power of what I call so that. So if people hear about your business or your brand or your product or your service, you need to give them a really compelling reason. And it's so that they will buy your product or your service so that they can do whatever it is that they value themselves, whatever they love, whatever makes them happy, whatever delivers success or the outcome that they're looking for. You know, it's that old story about people sort of buying a drill. They don't really want to drill. I mean, some guys do, they love it. It's out in their man shed. But for many of us, it's more the fact that you can actually hang up a picture that reminds you of a great holiday or your family. It's so that you feel more relaxed, so that you feel more comfortable, so that you feel it's all been worthwhile. There's always, your job is to find out what is it that your product or service does, if you want to differentiate, so that what does allow your customer, your client, and in fact your team to be able to do. And when you're thinking about why you exist, why should anybody really care? You know, you want to be able to give people a reason to care about your business, about your product, and about the sort of things that you do. And the players in business, they really are not only your fellow, your business, your fellow board members, your shareholders, but also your clients. You know, we want to be able to make sure that what we're doing works exceptionally well for our clients. And what's in it for our team? How do we get their perspective on it? So whenever we're thinking about designing our business or redesigning it for success and setting it up for success, there'll be a perspective that each of your clients or your team will actually have. They'll have a thought about that. And so you want to create something that's impactful, that really is different, that is special, that allows people to do this so that to really enjoy the benefits that flow from working with you. And Steve Jobs said it pretty well. You know, if today were the last day of your life, what would you want to do? What are you about to do? Would you do what you're about to do today? And in fact, in this design process, you can think about, well, now that I've got this opportunity to really look at my business, would I do it, would I set it up, would I design it the same way? Would I be appealing to the same people? Would I want the same clients? Would I want to be able to deliver our products and services in exactly the same way? Have we learned some things out of this whole COVID coronavirus lockdown period where we want to adapt that and take that forward? Many businesses have pivoted, like Jamie said last week, pivoted exceptionally well. Others are thinking about it, but are not doing much about it. But I want you to do something about it. One of the other tools that I want to give you is this ability to focus, because we're pretty bad at it. We've sometimes got the attention of a goldfish and we get distracted by many things. Now, arguably, that's what advertisers and marketers have always done in terms of trying to distract us. But now in this digital world, it's so easily to be distracted by the next shiny thing. I want you to focus in on the choices that you make, on the energy that you invest with your team and for the benefit of your clients, so that you have something that really is quite special. Another thing to think about is the difference between water and steam. It's just 1 degree. But what does that 1%, that 1 degree allow you to do? And quite often, if you think about, or let me put it another way, if I put to you a challenge to improve your business by just 1%, and we use our tools and what, you say, well, what would make the biggest difference? Well, what about if we could improve your sales by just 1%. The number of leads that you have in your pipeline, your gross profit margin, the number of clients that you have, the conversion days, your debtor days, your WIP days, your stock. Now, if we could just improve all of those things by 1%, if your team could just improve their strike rate, their efficiency, if we could improve our throughput, if we could get 1% better response to a mail out, 1% more or more effective reply to any marketing campaign, would that be a great thing? If we felt 1% better about ourselves today, would that be pretty cool? Well, I'm sure we could all do that. And if we can improve things by just 1%, we celebrate, we reflect, and then perhaps we can have a look at another 1%. So just imagine if you could fill your business full of 1% little improvements. And those things don't have to be large, but they would certainly add up to a lot. And in many cases, it's the little things that count. So what are the little things that you're doing inside your business that are cutting through and are of value to your team and to your clients, and perhaps even to your community? And there'll be lots. And if you think about it enough, if you focus in on that, you think, what could we do? What is it that we used to do? What is it that other businesses are doing? What can we adapt? What can we innovate so that we can make a great impact? So the other thing that's really important is about making a really great connection with your team and engaging very much with your clients and with your team so that they feel that they're valued, that they feel like it's been a great place for them to be, to enjoy. So connection engagement. So what is your business doing right now to connect, and how could you better connect and get greater engagement, greater response, greater loyalty, greater retention? If you're thinking about the what's, then I'm sure you'll come up with the how you might be able to do that. Now, in terms of, why should I buy from you? So why should anybody buy from you? Given we've got choices, what is special about your business, about your product, about your service? And again, if you think about this, you can think about what could we do to make it special? Whether that's the way we distribute it, the platform we use, the client's experience. There's got to be something unique about it, because if we can't find something special about it, about how we do that, then people are going to be looking at just price. But we're in the relationship business, so what can we do to build even more relationships where people feel more trusted and trusting of being able to work with you and buy your products and your service? Businesses have really grappled with this, and the best businesses have worked out how they can be seen as almost the best choice and almost the lowest risk in terms of the choices that people have in buying from you. So give people a reason to care. Show me that you care. Don't just say that you do. So what does our experience look and feel like when we are working with and delivering and distributing our products and our services, when we're working with our people? And show me the value. Don't tell me about it. Show me what it is that you do, what your company does, that adds real value to me. And if we're asking really great questions, you'll find that out. And the so that I was talking about is almost the window to that. So what it is about what you offer, what you supply, that delivers huge value to people. And if you really brainstorm that and pull that about, you will find out that certainly is something that you can differentiate on. It's not about the money. So let's have a look about creating this action plan that I've been reflecting on and talking about. Is I want to get you thinking about, well, what could we do to create this action plan? So you had a plan, but what's the plan right now? Now, it might be that you want to create a business that's more profitable, more valuable, and more enjoyable. Now, I encourage most of my clients, in fact, all of them, to think about that. What could we do? Because that opens up opportunities for everybody. And as a business person, I think, well, we want to be able to create a great business for everybody. We want to create one that we can sell at a time of our choosing, for a price that we like, for terms and conditions. But it's got to be attractive. It's got to be relevant. we've got to make sure that we don't get lost. And in this situation with disruption, it's really quite possible that some of us have lost our way and our businesses seriously have been disrupted. And what can we do to make it even more enjoyable for people? So let me share a couple of things with you. So what have we learned? What have you learned about your business? You know, and in fact, when I reflect on some of the great things that have come from Nelson Mandela, he always said, I never lose. I either win or I learn. And as I've said, asking great questions is one of those things that will differentiate, will allow you to come up with some brilliant ideas that you haven't yet implemented. So the thing about strategic thinking, it's so much more about the thinking process rather than the outcome. Out of it, you will create an action plan. I've talked about that being a plan with actions that everybody can understand, and they know why you're doing what you're doing and the benefits for everybody. In fact, I was at a conference a year or so back with Mark Randolph, the founder of Netflix. And what he said really was, somebody asked him about ideas. And he said, it's not really about having a good idea. It's more than that. So I want to share with you what he actually said about that.
If it was a good idea, then even when they were terribly implemented, customers immediately said, this is a good idea. And they would try to get their way to order it. They'd call us, they'd email, they'd reboot the site 4 or 5 times. And then we knew exactly what to fix. You see, the insight that came from all that was that it wasn't about having good ideas. It was all about building a system and a culture that let us try lots of bad ones.
So I think what Mark was really getting at when we further quizzed him on that was thinking about, well, we have to let go when we work out that an idea isn't working for us, and we have to really listen to our customers. So it's having a process about that. Now I've got their OMV. Now what I mean there is you want to be able to do a couple of things there. You want to be able to ask great questions to uncover your objectives. What are the objectives of our business? And now if we're thinking about it from a team perspective, a client perspective, and also our community, we can ask, we get clarity around our objectives and we set ourselves up for success, but we also look and say, well, if that is our objective, how could we measure our success? What would be a measurement of our success? And then when we know that, we can then understand the value that that will have for our business, for our clients, for our team, in the context of what it is that we're trying to achieve. So I would encourage you always to think about the players, your board. What does your business want? What's in it for your team? How can we get people engaged, connected, where they feel this has been a great place? We're achieving some great things together. This is an awesome organization. We know what success will look like. We don't leave it ambiguous. We're really clear about that. We get it visual, and then we get around the implementation. So I've talked about what's critical for your success, and you need to do that exercise. What's absolutely critical for our success in each of the key areas of our business. Now you have to know your numbers, and for many of you, you've had to really get a better understanding of where it is that you're making money, your margins, the products that are working, and you might be thinking about, well, now that we've invested X money in that, how can we leverage that? How can we scale that? How can we distribute that and rebundle it, repackage it in a way that people will value that and that will deliver some pretty good outcomes for us? And the best businesses have a dashboard. They're not waiting for their P&L to be delivered in a month or two's time. They know daily, weekly about the key things that are critical for their success. And on that point, it's about thinking about redesigning your expenditure. So if you're spending money, what's the return on investment? Is there a better way for us to get an outcome for that than the way that we're currently spending our money? So if you race through your profit and loss or your balance sheet and you see what you're spending, you think, yeah, what could we do? What's better? Now, some people have had to do that by necessity through this process. The other thing that's important for a business is to create an awesome brand. So most of those brands will be well known to you. They're in the top 5 as in Forbes 19 and 20, the year 2020's top most trusted brands. And the one in the top right-hand corner, I'll come back to that one later, see if any of you guess which brand that in fact is. So if your business is fundamentally asking the question, how can I help you? That's going to be really very important to you standing out as a business of choice, where your products and services are brilliant. and give people options. Make it really great for them to have an experience of working with you. Remove all the friction. Look at how you can help fix their problems. Design a solution so that they can do some pretty awesome things. So in terms of leadership, we've learned a lot about leadership over this period, and we ourselves have learned about ourselves as leaders, or in fact, the people that are charged with leading our organization. And the important thing that leaders need to do is help us build trust throughout the entire organization and in our community so that we can do some brilliant things. At the heart of all that is the things that we value the most, that are core to us. And they will be almost the bedrock of the culture of our organization. We will never deviate from them. They'll be non-negotiable. And we will make sure that we as leaders are the guardians, the custodians of the things that we value. Now, there only should be a handful, and you need to live and breathe them. But a leader's job is to do really just two things. One is to grow the business, and the other is to grow the people. Because if we can grow the people, then we get scale, we get leverage, we have some brilliant people in our organization, we have many more options, we're going to be an employer of choice, and we know that that's really important. A leader's job also is around being effective in their communication, being really clear, and providing as much certainty as one can. And you really think about some of the leaders or some of the leadership traits over this last period, and you think, was that really good leadership? Not sure. In many cases, if I look at some of the things that I've seen from some leaders. But a leader's role is about building trust. The thing I would say to you about trust really is a feeling. It's not tangible, but we all know when it's broken. So what are you doing in your business to create trust? And the thing about making decisions or getting people to trust you is that we know that logic really makes us think, but it's emotion that makes us act. So what can we do with all that amazing data that's out there? We can Google anything and find we're almost information overload. So if we can attach emotion to information so that people get it, so that we show and we give people a reason to care about our products, our services, the way that we work, and why they should perhaps be a customer of ours so that we can help them, then when we do that and we care about them in the way that we care about the things and the people that are most important in our life, the way we treat our mum, our grandparent, then we're going to be building trust. And trust isn't one of those things that races up. You're building moments of connection and you're building increasing moments of trust. And I feel I can now trust you more. And when I trust you more, then we can do some pretty cool things. And experience says, and in fact, statistics are coming back, that 80% of sales are around those combination of things. But it's about how you make me feel. Did you listen to me? Do you understand me? Are you looking to help me get to where I need to get to? Does what you offer, does your product, does your service, and in fact, the whole experience of working with you, is it being fun? Do you get it? Do you get me? Are you serious about helping me? And if you are, and you make that process frictionless, in fact, it's enjoyable, then I'm more likely to deal with you than I am with somebody else. So your brain's in your head, your feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. Now, I guess the thing is, don't take yourself too seriously, but take what you do seriously. Take about the opportunity that you have to help people in your organization, to help your clients get great outcomes from working with you, from transacting with you, so that they feel like you're a real partner and your products and services are really helping them do what it is that they love to do and want to do. You're feeling you've got some real purpose. So we're in the home straight now, and just in wrapping up, if I could, I just want to say to you, perhaps what you now need to do is narrow the focus. We've talked about all the things you can do, but there might be some things that you should stop doing and direct your energy a little bit more specifically and share those things, the things that are critical for your success. Let's narrow that focus. So in that reflection is that we've talked about your vision, your core values, your big why you do what you do. Focus on what's important for your success and focus on what you can control. In this uncertainty we have, there are a number of things you can't control, but what are you doing about the things that you can control? Let's focus on those. Be thinking always about how we can deliver loads of value to your customer, consistent with what they want, what they value. we develop an action plan, and that plan will be probably, if you think business plan like, it'll almost be a 1 or 2 page document. Break that into quarters, break that into big stuff, break it into the 1% things. And let's see if we can get 1% better outcomes from a whole range of things that we do. And let's get our team involved. Let's get it visual. Let's have some fun with it. Let our clients know that we really are connected. We want to help them. And let's celebrate. And let's learn from things and refine again and go again. So the most important thing I asked you right up front was to take some action. And that's what I really would love you to do. I've got some things, if you want a copy of this presentation, I'm certainly happy to send that out to you. If you want to approach me about a couple of things and get some more detail, happy to do that. There's some things here that I might be able to shoot out to you in terms of things that you might want to have a little look at. How you can ask great questions, what I call the Magnificent 9, happy to share that with you. I've been doing lots of work in helping people with their sales organizations. And I keep reminding them that people don't like being sold to, but they love retail therapy. They love buying things. So how can you give them more confidence to buy from you? How can you help them? So big thank you in wrapping up. Thank you again to Jono, to the D group. And I believe it's really important to give back. It's been a big part of my life. I'm really grateful to a whole range of people who've been able to help me and our company and our businesses and the boards and things that I've been on. And what I'd love to be able to do today through my lifetime membership to B1G1, which is a global giving organization. So we'd like to be able to give 10 tutoring sessions to help seriously ill children catch up on their education. And we'll be giving that as a result of you being on today. Every time we do something, we like to be able to give something. So that's our way of saying thank you. And the book that I was talking about before, in fact, Jono alluded to, for any of you who did decide or did work out that brand back there with the guy with the hairy thing, hairy beard, some of you have been growing beards over this period, that's Harley Davidson. So if you got that right, good for you. But if you'd like a copy of the book, I'd be more than happy to send it out to you. You just drop an email to me or through D Group, and I'll be delighted to give that to you. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity of being able to share some things. I'm conscious it was a little fast today, some technology little glitches in there from time to time, but I look forward to hearing about your success. So in wrapping up, I just thought I would say, if you're asking about, well, what's your big why, Alec? Well, what's your purpose? Well, I really absolutely love business and helping business owners create that business that's far more profitable, valuable and enjoyable, so that they can live the life they desire with many more options. So that's pretty cool. The more options we have, the better people tend to feel about themselves. And my details are there for those of you who might want to get in touch. Connect with me on LinkedIn, but do your little bit today and ask somebody, are you okay? I'll throw back to you, Jono, and thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Alec. That was terrific. We really appreciate your time. I think it was a nice, very clear presentation, some great ideas. Can everyone see me now?
I'll just stop the screen sharing.
Yep. Here we go. I think we've got a couple of questions. One thing I was actually going to ask Alec, just from that, where do you see, and I suppose just relating a little bit back to just what I was talking about before, where do you see with this environment now, where when we come out of this, how culturally, teams how they're going to work together in terms of that? Is there, like, how much of a change is going to be in this business environment from everything from yes, people going back to the office, but just the communication now being so much here, like today being on Zoom. Are there going to be out there, are there going to be sort of positive and negative effects that are going to come out of this new way of sort of that we're all working and communicating?
It's a really interesting question, and there are a number of things that I've observed, and I've been lucky enough to be on globally with a whole range of organizations as part of my connection with MSI, the global group, and people are asking that very question. And there's some things that people have enjoyed about working from home. There's some things that boards or business owners have been concerned about allowing people to work from home, about will productivity be where it's at. what new things have people liked? What have they learned about themselves? And what have we learned about ourselves inside business? So it'd be interesting to see, they talk about habits that you create as a result of new behaviors over a period of 60 to 90 days. Some will stick. It'd be very interesting to see which ones will stick. But I think that people will we are social creatures, so we'll want to get back together again. Now, will that mean we'll always be in an office? What will that mean for property? What will that mean for offices? What will that mean for distribution and warehouses? But people like to get out and about. Yep. So some things will settle. I think we now know, and some of us are also feeling almost Zoom or Teams fatigue. So it's great to know that. So I guess we won't really know until we get back into having a more open environment again, and we get on top of this and there's a vaccine. But I think through all of this, in a rounded way to answer your question, is that people hopefully will have a better understanding now of what they value most about working with people, about the contribution they could make, and the things that we might have taken for granted, regardless of where you sit in that whole business community. It will be different, and you'll feel like you'll be more grateful, I think, and more appreciative of the contribution you can make.
Very good. All right. Thank you. All right. I have a question here from Natalia Sampson. How do business leaders best balance the economic needs of the business versus the mental needs of staff?
It's something we've been grappling with, undoubtedly, but I think the great organizations that you mentioned the word culture before, where they've created a really awesome, brilliant culture, they've always listened to their people. They've always thought about, what does this mean for our team? What does it allow them to do? How can our team members be the best version of themselves? So in terms of that balance, well, it's okay to make profits. In fact, businesses have got to make great profits. They really do, because that will release cash flow, produce cash flow, and allow for further employment, further investment. So it's always a tricky one about balancing it. But I think clarity and openness is really important when you think about balancing. You've got to listen to people. You've got to share with people. Now, some board members have said to me, Alec, we can't be telling our people how much money we're actually making. But people do want to know that their job's secure, that the business is growing, that it is developing, there's new opportunities. And in terms of the mental health element of it, I mean, the part of that is that we do really need to be listening to our people and provide pathways where people feel comfortable and safe to be able to communicate back inside a business about the contribution they can make, the ideas that they might have to improve the business. And from a business perspective, we need to be listening better and taking that on board. And if we have this thing that we're all in this together, we can create a business that produces great outcomes for everybody. Then I think people will feel a greater purpose, greater engagement.
All right, very good. And just lastly, like with on that last slide before that, could you just go over again so you've got 10 maturing sessions that you're putting out there. Do you want to just give us a run for our listeners in today of just what that is? And I think that was a very nice view putting that together. So, but I just sort of just if you did run over that again, and then I can make sure that gets out to everyone.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I've completely understood you there, Jono, but what I was saying is that as a result of this experience of working with you, I'm going to make a contribution. It's actually through I've always felt it really important to give back. I feel really grateful. I feel like I'm a really lucky guy. Yep. And so I look to be able to almost pay that back or pay it forward. And through my membership of B1G1, there is an opportunity for me to be able to fund 10 tutoring sessions for kids who have really lost their way and have got behind in education. And that program is delivered through the Ronald McDonald House. And so I'll be making that contribution, if you like, as my little way of saying thank you to you and Deeg for being able to share with the guys and girls.
Right. Fantastic. I really appreciate that. And it's been great having you on today. Some great insights there. I've taken down some notes for myself and also the team. So, appreciate it, Alec. And thank you again.
Thanks indeed. So I look forward to hearing about some great successes.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks indeed.
Terrific. Bye.
Bye-bye.